haircut, Buttercup.
In that moment, I watched that skinny boy transform into a superhero.
Look out, man. Look at that. They're coming at you. You see that? It's called karate, man. And only two kinds of people know it. The Chinese and the king. One of them is me.
Alright, so I just saw a movie this last weekend called Elvis. I know it's been out since June 24th, but I'm just now seeing it. And it was fantastic. It was a good little movie. It was kind of long, a little long in the teeth, like 2 hours and 30-something minutes. I feel like it could have maybe chopped it up a little bit more. But, you know, for what I saw, it was pretty damn good. This movie starred Austin Butler and Tom Hanks. I forget who it was directed by. Director Baz Luhrmann? I don't even know who that is. I'm not even going to care who that is because this movie is all about Austin Butler's portrayal of Elvis. And he makes a better Elvis than probably Elvis. Like, he is very good looking in this film. I was like, you know, I was a little shocked by how good he looked in this movie. And he sounded just like Elvis, which was, you know, amazing. But, you know, this film is getting like a 7.6 on IMDb. It's getting like a 78% on Rotten Tomatoes. So, you know, everyone seems to be in agreement that it's good. Of course, no one can agree on anything. But this is definitely like, you know, a stellar music biopic type thing. I would say it's better than Bohemian Rhapsody and Rocket Man. You know, it's better than those biopics because they take an interesting angle with this movie. They show it from Colonel Parker's perspective, which was Elvis's bookie, his agent, his manager. And that character's played by Tom Hanks. And the whole movie's from his perspective on Elvis and, you know, what happened between them. Of course, Colonel Parker stole a lot of money from Elvis in his Vegas shows. He took 50% of anything Elvis made. And Elvis made a lot of money. And that's way too much money to give a manager. Managers to get like, what, 10%? Not 50%. So, you know, he stole a lot of money from Elvis. And that's what the third act of the movie ends up being. You know, that's what the drama in the third act comes from is Colonel and Elvis button heads and stuff, and the Colonel taking advantage of Elvis. And, you know, sad ending. You know, Elvis died when he was 42. Like, he was young. Playing his shows in Vegas, like, killed him, like, type thing. Very sad. Very talented guy. I like the first 2/3 of this movie. I feel like the editing is really good. It moves on, you know, it moves along at a brisk pace. You know, there's a lot of cool little transition shots and stuff like that. The music in the movie is fantastic. It's all Elvis music, like reworked for the movie. And sometimes they just play Elvis songs like, you know, straight up, like Hound Dog. This 68, like, comeback TV special. Like, they just played that music straight up, pretty much. There's a couple music bits in the first third that didn't really fit. It had, like, a modern beat to it. It was like, you know, it's just weird hearing modern music, you know, and you're watching something in the 50s. I didn't feel like that worked at all. I feel like those couple songs you could have took out and just replaced it with straight up Elvis music. Like, why not? But, you know, it was a great movie. I love seeing his whole career from, you know, being a famous rock star, then becoming a movie star a little bit. And just the amount of people taking advantage of him was incredible. Incredible. All the bullshit this guy had to deal with. But, you know, talking more about the music, they use a motif in the movie. And I think it's the song Can't Help Falling in Love, done like orchestrally, you know, with strings and stuff like that. And they play that over and over in the movie, especially towards the end. The last shots you see of Elvis, they're kind of playing that motif of him. So, you know, that got me tearing up a little bit. You know, nothing squirted out, but, like, I definitely was feeling the tears coming near the end of that film when they start playing Can't Help Falling in Love. Like, I was very impacted by that. But yeah, Austin Butler did a hell of a job as Elvis. He's probably going to get nominated for something. I wouldn't be surprised if he wins for this movie. Tom Hanks, definitely going to get nominated. Very good as well, again. In fact, I'm looking at IMDb right now, and it's saying Austin Butler has already won the HCA Award for Best Actor. I don't know what that is. A Hollywood Critic Association Mid-Season Awards. He's already won it for that. And the director won for Best Director and Best Picture. I don't know if it's the Best Picture of the year. We still got a couple months to go. But so far, like, all around, it was well done. And I remember some of the early clips of this movie came out, and people were ragging on it, saying, like, oh, this is horrible editing and stuff like that. And when you actually watch the movie, they were hiding a lot. They showed clips that really aren't in the movie. The trailers lead you to believe there's something else going on in the movie that's not. And one of the trailers of this movie, there's a part in it where it's like, Martin Luther King's been shot, and then you see Elvis say, oh, it has everything to do with us.
Martin Luther King has been shot to death in Memphis.
That's all right for you.
Tragedy, but it has nothing to do with us.
It has everything to do with us.
Like, you would think the movie's about something about MLK getting assassinated and Elvis going down to Memphis to rally people. So you would think that would be in the movie based on the trailer. But that's total misdirection. In the movie, MLK's assassination and Robert Kennedy's assassination are just things that pop up on the news that Elvis reacts to for like one scene. And then they move past it. It's not something that is the center point of the movie. It's just something to show that Elvis, he was aware of what was going on in the world. Like, he wasn't like on an island by himself. He was definitely aware and definitely trying to make a difference in his own way. But his manager, Colonel Parker, just wanted him to keep making, Elvis music and Elvis merchandise because he was just concerned about making money, right?
Merchandising, where the real money from the movie is made. Spaceballs the t-shirt, Spaceballs the coloring book, Spaceballs the lunchbox, Spaceballs the breakfast cereal, Spaceballs the flamethrower. The kids love this one.
And it's a pretty interesting movie. Like, you have two characters here. One of them is Colonel Parker, who is definitely the bad guy, but he narrates the movie. So it's like the villain narrating and telling you the story from his perspective, and it still makes it out for him to be the bad guy. Like, there's no way around it. Like, he's definitely a piece of shit, like, by the end of the movie. And Elvis is pretty much a hero. He's pretty much a good guy that's struggling with addiction. He's struggling with fame. He's just trying to survive. And, he dies at 42, so he didn't win that fight. And it's just really sad because the movie presents Elvis as like a really good guy, like the best guy. It starts when he was a kid and he's running around pretending he's Captain Marvel from the comic books. Captain Marvel today is known as Shazam, which they already made a movie about that, and they're going to be making Shazam 2 soon. So I love that they put a little Captain Marvel, shout out in this movie. But yeah, the whole thing about the Rock of Eternity in the Marvel Comics, Elvis talks about that a lot in the movie, how he just wants to be remembered. He wants that immortality. And, by the end of the movie, you think it makes it seem that Elvis thinks that he never got that, right? Like, he died thinking that he wasn't going to be remembered. But as we all know, Elvis is like the highest selling artist of all time. Everybody on the planet knows who Elvis is. He did reach immortality. He did reach the Rock of Eternity. And who didn't was Colonel Parker. Nobody remembers Colonel Parker. I didn't even know who the fuck the guy was. You know what I'm saying? My mom, who grew up, 60s, 70s, she didn't know who the fuck Colonel Parker was or what this story was that happened to Elvis, So, a lot of things people didn't know about him were showing up in this movie. And I hope most of it was true. I didn't do any, backup research to see what they got right and what they got wrong. I'm just trusting that they got it right. But, there's some great moments in this movie where, like, Elvis meets up with B.B. King and Little Richard, Tutti Frutti, I'm Rudy. Like you hear that whole song play out, and you hear see Little Richard like losing his mind singing that song. It's great. BB King's in the movie. I mean, what a shocker that they showed that. Because those are little details you could skip over in a music biopic, but I feel like they touched on every point in Elvis's life. Even some of the people he interacted with. Even his time in the service, they touch on that. He went into the military to get out jail time. So, I like that they touched on every aspect of his life. It is a long movie, and I was feeling the length in the third act. Like, as the movie was winding down and, all the drama stuff was happening in the third act, I was feeling it. Which is, not the best sign when I'm going into a movie and I'm checking my watch towards the end. I'm like, is this over yet? What's the ending? But the ending, I feel like they made it worth it because they end the movie and they fade out of Austin Butler's Elvis and they show you real footage of Elvis, like in his last performance. And he's like all fat and stuff. He could barely stand. And he's still singing like crazy good. Like, crazy good. And just super sad. Super sad to see the real footage of him at the end of the movie. But yeah, I don't want to spoil too much. I was shocked at how much of this movie had me enthralled, because I was not a big Elvis fan going in. I listened to a few of his songs, there ain't nothing but a hound dog, I know that one. I know a couple of his love songs, but that's it. Like, I never listened to his music like that. I never knew his life or his story. I knew that he died young, and that was about it. Like, 42 is pretty young. That's pretty young to kick the bucket. But yeah, Austin Butler, just an amazing performance. He outdid Tom Hanks. Like, I mean, if you were going to compare the two performances in this movie, I feel like Austin Butler surpassed Tom Hanks. And which is tough to do. Tom Hanks is one of the greatest actors living. And he definitely surpassed him. The director should be very proud. I give this movie probably an 8.5 or a 9 out of 10, like that kind of level. It is that good. The only reason I bring it down is because there was a couple music choices early on I didn't like. I felt like the movie was a little bit too long, especially because the first two acts are so tight and the editing's so crisp and everything's moving along so fast and it feels so good. And then all of a sudden you get to that third act and it's like we come to a grinding halt. But that being said, I think the third act is still good. It's really impactful. It's really dramatic. It's really sad. And, I wasn't expecting to walk out of an Elvis movie sad. You know what I'm saying? I was just wow, feeling so bad for Elvis. I was not expecting that. It kind of makes me want to go listen to his music, though, a little bit now. Might go on iTunes and start listening to some Elvis stuff. But anyway, that's it for now. Just want to give some thoughts on the movie. I thought it was really good. Austin Butler, if he's definitely getting nominated for an Oscar. If he doesn't win it, that's a fucking, somebody else has to give a hell of a performance to beat him, type thing. I hope he wins it. But anyway, that's going to do it for now, guys. Go out and see Elvis while it's still in theaters. I think it's in theaters for a couple more weeks. Give the movie your money. It's very good. As far as performances and directing and editing, it's got to be one of the best films of the year. I mean, Top Gun Maverick is a very fun movie to watch. 100%. But it ain't no Oscar bait. It ain't no fucking revolutionary thing. Other than all the planes flying through the air and stuff like that. Elvis, this is damn. I never seen a performance that embodied a person more than Austin Butler embodied Elvis. You thought the guy who played Freddie Mercury in Bohemian Rhapsody, you thought that was good? This is gonna fucking blow your fucking socks off. Your mind's gonna be blown. You'll be like, holy shit. But anyway, that's it for now. I'll see you all later. Leave a comment. Let me know what you thought of Elvis. And we'll see you in the next review. Bye-bye for now.
We are the same, you and I. We are two odd, lonely children reaching for eternity. The greatest show on earth.
Come on, man. Come on. Sit around there now. Turn around. Sit around. Look out, man. Look at this. Some long game, sir, man.
Well, thanks, Elvis.
Well, I'm on, man. Come on. Let's go.
Come on, Butler. What the fuck was he talking about?